Is it okay if I record this phone call?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I know we're already 20 minutes into it. I should have done it from the start, but I just
Hey,
I just
no
want to hold
worries,
on to
no
this.
worries.
I just want to hold on to this so I can maybe I can come back to this later if I ever need to or anything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just talking about I mean, trauma responses and the universality of that, and trying to find ways to manage those trauma responses. Especially inside of relationships. Even people that don't aren't totally trauma informed, like maybe your dad and your family friend aren't, they can still provide love and understanding and care. It's where like reaching out to a professional who has some of that and those insights, um, you know, can be super useful. That's why, like the fact that they're free and like they're available, especially when everything's so expensive, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Do you have a car or
No, I
like
don't
is transportation?
no, I don't got any wheels now.
Gotcha, gotcha. So Jocelyn Center might be like your first call then, just because like the whole online therapy, like it's nice to talk to someone in person, but sometimes it's just easier to do it online or on your phone.
Yeah.
So what keeps you busy these days? Like, are you working? Are you going to school? Like, what's your jam?
Well, right now I had a job. I had a part-time job at a Mexican grocery store, but I got fired because I had to go to a doctor's appointment and I told them and they said that was fine, and then I had to go to a job interview literally a few days later, and I called them and I told them. But when I went for that job interview, it was it was a little bit, I called them last minute, very last minute, like right before I had to go in because I was confused about the job interview. I thought it was at a different date. There's all these there's it's a kind of an accumulation of things that's happening in my life right now, but it's not necessarily that it's all happening right now. It's just that I've avoided it for so long, and now it's I have to face the music. There's no other choice.
Yeah, and like we all have those experiences where things pile up because for whatever reason we don't feel emotionally able to manage that at a certain time. That's a totally normal thing, and that's like the best thing you can try to do whenever possible is like not is try to space those things out. Like nobody can manage all of those things all at once. Try to take things one by one. Whatever those things on your list are, because like it's impossible to do it all in a day or
Yeah.
solve it all at once. Sorry, my throat's a little bit dry. Yeah, I mean, have you in the past just have you have you ever seen a therapist before? Like, are you sort of
Yes.
accustomed to what that relationship looks like? Has that
Yeah.
been helpful in the past?
Yeah. So that's the thing. When I was like little, like 9 to I don't know, like 15, um, I would see counselors here and there.
Like through your
Nothing
school
like
or
yeah, through school and then through like clinics and stuff like that. I don't think I ever saw a therapist well, actually I did, yeah. But not for too long. Um, but I can never really make progress with them because I didn't know I had this disorder. I didn't know that I had this, and it's not like they really knew because I've looked into it. It's only like 3% of the population has it, but I think it's only 3% of the population that are diagnosed with it because nobody really knows. Like I don't know, and I don't think that I don't think that a lot of people have it, but I think a lot of people have more of these avoidant characteristics than they realize. When I was
for sure, I agree.
yeah, when I was like 9 years old and I went to counseling for the first time, I obviously I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. I would lash out and get like angry over nothing all the time. I was such an emotional child. I'd cry over nothing. I'd get really sensitive when like sweet innocent songs would play on the radio. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, uh, so I go to this counselor like at 9 years old for the first time, and they asked me like, "Hey, what's the deal? What's wrong?" And I'm like, I don't know." They're like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I say, I have anger issues," and they're like, "What does that mean? Everybody has anger issues," and like, you know what I mean? Like, how the hell is a 9-year-old kid supposed to know what he's feeling? Like,
Of course they're not. Of course they're not. I mean, most adults don't know why they feel the things that they do, let alone a 9-year-old kid.
yeah,
And at 9, that to be experiencing those things usually is a response to some sort of trauma. Whether it's a trauma that existed in a day or a week, or it's traumas that added up over years. And here's the thing too: it's like things can happen to us when we're kids that we don't even totally remember, but like our body remembers, and that
yeah,
sort of comes out in those really weird ways sometimes.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I think so. After that counseling, that I told you about the first time I did counseling, and I tried, they were trying to force an explanation out of me, and I tried to comply, but caved in because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. Eventually, they just put me on Adderall because they didn't know what else to do with me, and I think it just made it worse. It genuinely just
Probably.
it made yeah, it definitely it just made everything ten times, because I was a lot, I was making so much more connections in my brain, even if they weren't, I was connecting dots that were never meant to be connected. And it's funny because they put me on this so that I could focus as well, but it made me even more fractured. It made me less, it ruined my ability to focus, and it enhanced my ability to fixate. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
was,
I can. Yeah, I was on um not Adderall, but like the other version
oh,
as a kid.
the one
Uh,
that's more downer, kind of drowsy, Ritalin.
Ritalin, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ritalin.
I was on whatever the generic of that was from like second grade to sixth grade. So like I totally get that. Um, you
Wait,
know.
yeah. So wait, how is Ritalin exactly? What does that make you
Um,
feel like?
so it's basically like a less intense version of Adderall. So like I was just a really skinny kid who was like who struggled with focusing too. So doctors put me on that. You
Yeah,
know, and I think in some ways it was helpful, in some ways it wasn't. So it's tough to say. Your experience is unique just as much as mine is.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely unique because, like you say it had its benefits. You say it was somewhat helpful, but I don't think it was like helpful for me at all. I think
Man,
that
who
shit was,
knows? I was a kid. I was a kid. I don't even know if it was helpful or not. It's
yeah,
hard to say.
right, yeah, and it's just,
I think my grades got better, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. My grades maybe have gone better. Not actually, not even really, because I remember not giving a crap during school, like at all. And that was just because I kept avoiding, like, and I would just, it's so weird. I don't know. Like, so I would tell myself, oh, the school system isn't for me. The school system is broken. I was like 12 saying things like that. And like people would think I was deep, but I think I couldn't, I couldn't, I wasn't made for, you know what I mean? Like I just, cause I know I love education. I love academia. I love to learn. I love to understand. But like I couldn't. I just could not.
And sometimes systems fail us. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you weren't built for the school system. Maybe they just weren't responsive for your needs. And like we've learned over the years that like that's the case for a lot of different kind of people. And hopefully, I think a lot of school districts are more trauma informed. They can deal with these things better than when I was a kid or when you were a kid. Um, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Um
like you were saying about your dad, like, your dad cares about you, he loves you, but like he doesn't necessarily understand how these things work with the same language. Just like these institutions, like schools, you know, they get better over time. Hopefully, they often do.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So another thing about the APD is really or AVP. I don't know how. It's really common in people who have a history of anxiety disorders in their family. Like if somebody has this disorder, it's they likely have a history of anxiety disorders in their family, and I see that like in my dad. I don't think he has the same disorder as I do, but I think he has an anxiety disorder because I'll be doing something, right? I'll do some shit like I cut up watermelons weirdly. Like I'll, I'll you know what I mean? Like I don't like to cut the whole thing in half and then slice everything, because then you just like the whole watermelon is exposed to the air and it's gonna get gross real soon. So I just like to cut like the last sliver, like what I know I'm gonna eat, and then I wrap the rest up in tinfoil, and then like and like he saw me doing that. And he's like, "What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not how you cut a watermelon." And he tried to explain it to me step by step. It's like, dude, I know how to cut a freaking watermelon. And like I'll be cleaning something, and he'll be like, "Oh, don't do it like this. Like 'cause you might break it." And it's like, why are you freaking out, man? Like, and it kind of and it's weird because like it pisses me. Like I know that it shouldn't, because I know that's just he's reflecting something that he doesn't know. Like I'm sure that he was corrected, or something happened to him, right? He picked something up from his dad, who picked something up from his dad, and
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like this is his self-defense mechanism, like is like maintaining control. And when someone does something outside of his experience, people respond to that with like skepticism or, fear or frustration. That's a totally normal response for someone with anxiety. And like, you're right, anxiety is, you know, it's generational sometimes. It sounds like that's the case for you.
yeah, definitely. And it honestly, of course I don't blame him. I never did. Well, that's not true. I did blame him a lot, even when I knew even when I knew it wasn't his fault. I still would blame him. But like it just I don't know, because I think that his anxiety made mine even worse because um you know
Yeah,
he I told you I noticed he would correct me if I do little things like that. So if he talks to me like that, if he talks to his own son like that, I'm sure he talks to himself like that, right? Like so
sure.
after like I was like a year old, maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, when my parents got divorced, and he my mom left um after a while, and we all came to Vegas, and then from there we went to Idaho. But my dad stayed in Chicago. He never left. So he I guess maybe, and he never lived on his own in an apartment because sure, he's just trying to make ends meet. He's trying to save. He would always stay with a family. He'd always stay with another family in the basement or something. And I think that was just like his anxiety of like, oh my God, I had it. I had what I wanted. I had a family, and now it's gone. And well, don't do that again. It's gonna happen again. You're gonna lose it again. So play it safe. How about just stay with a family that isn't yours, and then you can leave whenever you want. Like, and I'm glad I can analyze that. I'm glad I can see that, but it kind of, obviously I don't blame him, but it just I see how that screwed me up, because if his fear of like I don't want to do something risky, like I barely saw him growing up. I would come here and visit him for like a summer or two. Like I
It's really hard.
yeah. Um like it I asked him when was the last time him and I went fishing, and he said I was like 5 years old. And what happened was that somebody was reeling in a snake, and it came on shore, and it freaked me out, and I started crying. And he said, "Oh God, yeah, no, we're not doing this again." Like, what the hell, dude? That's supposed to like that's what you do with your dad. You're supposed to go fishing. Like, what do you mean not again? Just because I was scared? And like, I get it. He was trying to protect me, but like, shit, dude. Like, these things are so huge, and we don't see them. We I mean, we do when we do, but if and it's just sad to see like other people who don't see these things letting them control their lives. Like it's shadows. A lot of it is just shadows. Like like fear or anger, and then you let them control you. Like that's what I did when I had this episode. I let this like I don't even know if it was like so I guess the disorder is avoidance, right? So it's like this deep seated belief of unworthiness. So I mean, what even was the shadow? Was it shame? Was it pity? Was it like I don't even know because I I'm not really sure exactly what it was, but I know that it was I let my my shadows take me over, my my emotions, my stuff that isn't my beliefs, that isn't me. Because like people will do that. People have manic episodes and their shadows take over and they're like, oh, I don't know what the hell that was. But it's like you do know what it is. Like maybe you don't recognize it at first because you're still in shock, but then you start to think about it and you're like, oh, that's that one part of me that desires X, or that's that one part of me that is afraid of X, you know?
No, I mean, like, some people have the language, some people have like the inkling of what that might be about, and other people can't articulate it as, clearly as you're be able to articulate it right now. Um, you know, I think that's totally normal, and those feelings of unworthiness, those come from a lot of different places, and they're sometimes they happen when you don't have those, like, you have those periods of not being close to your parents, like, you with your dad. It's really awesome that you've been able to reconnect with them more recently. Um, so I mean, like, nothing is ever just one thing, right? Like,
Of
we
course.
all respond in our own unique ways to the things that happen to us in our life. Our brain tries to make sense of it. Sometimes it all becomes too much. Like, there's too many triggers all at once. And that's why, like, in your words, like, the shadows take over, because it just, our brain, it goes into sort of this, like, you know, trauma response of like, hey, this is too much. I can't engage with this anymore, and then we find ways to avoid it. Um, and that comes out in manic ways. Sometimes people respond to it and they just totally shut down, right? They just like go to sleep. Everybody's different in terms of the way that they sort of respond to those, the
Yeah.
building up of all those different, all that trauma all at once. And that's the thing. It's like that's gonna happen again, right? Like, we're all living on this planet. Like, there's gonna like those traumas will pile up again, and like that's part of the reason why working with a therapist is useful, because we can build over time like tools to sort of be able to manage those traumas when they inevitably come up again.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um, I have to go on to my next client, but I've really enjoyed talking with you. Like you have my number, so like feel free to give me a call. I work on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm only going to be here like through the end of the month, but I'm going to connect you with those two therapy offices. Definitely give them a call. If for whatever reason you want me to call with you, like that would be easier. I can do that too. But just check them out online. Hit me back either by email or phone, um, and we'll just take it from there.
Okay.
Um, what does the rest of your day look like?
The rest of my day, I'm just working on my business. I'm just trying to get as much done on this as possible, and then go hit like a an extreme workout for like an hour, and then meditate and write and read. I'm trying to like do a huge dopamine detox right now because I really need to figure this crap out. Like there's a lot of anger and a lot of avoidance in me and a lot of fear. So it comes out in this very immature, almost feminine. I don't want to say feminine in like a negative way, but I know I have a lot of femininity in me. But I know how to. I know I need to channel it and balance it. Um, so sorry, I know you need to go. I'm sorry, but
No, 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 no. I mean, I continue the conversation by asking what you were doing, but no, I think that's awesome. I mean, like, we all need tools to regulate ourselves. Like, having a therapist to talk about it is one thing, and that's really, really helpful. But like, the body's regulated by a lot of different things, and working out, movement is one of them. Um, you're talking about wanting to meditate. That's one. I mean, like, think about, like, how do we regulate, like, little babies, like, how, like, rocking a baby, like that kind of movement is regulating for everybody. um, so I think, in terms of how you're going to spend the rest of your day, working on the things that matter to you, meditating, and then doing a workout, I mean, that's about as good as it gets, man.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, well, I'll let you go so your client isn't waiting.
Totally. Well, it was really good talking to you, Kenneth. You have my number. Let me just double check this email.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, take care, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.